All right, I'm live. They can't hear you. Hi. Hi, everybody. Have no idea what the hell that was. YouTube shut down. I think you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Still says my event is starting. Now it says we've started. Hi, everybody. Hi, Ken. I don't know what happened. Janine kicked in, told me that the stream was shut off. I go look at it. It tells me the stream's fine, but I see nothing going on. It was just YouTube. YouTube had a glitch. For a minute there, we thought they were shutting down the channel again. They didn't. Sorry about that. What we were talking about, really quick, and maybe this is why, we were just talking about the homepage of our channel, Bernie2016.tv, and the fact that we now have a little tiny button up here that says support. If you're interested in supporting the channel, some of you already have. Thank you very much. That's all I'm going to mention of it. Moving on. This is the piece. This is CNN basically exploiting. This is one of the reasons why we don't trust establishment media anymore, folks. Let's get the blue swirlies going. We're going to watch the piece. We're going to watch the piece and listen to what Killer Mike says. Anybody that had ears, anybody that listened, understands reading comprehension, any of that stuff, you understood what was going on here. But it was immediately grabbed on as a sexist remark. CNN pushes out a piece saying he needs to defend his uterus quote. It's not even his statement. There's nothing to defend here. So it's ridiculous. But of course, actually, here's the cool thing. So it trended. Killer Mike trended, and Morehouse College trended last night for quite some time. Both fantastic for Bernie. I can't tell you how many comments I have. We have more than 20,000 views on this video, all right, because of, thank you, CNN, because of all of the crap. Oh, you know what? And I just remembered, I know, Hannah, you're going to tell me. Let's run the lower thirds. I'm so sorry, folks. Let's get your comments in there. How you doing, everybody? There we go. Yeah, Killer Mike was dropping truth bombs. The establishment can't handle the truth. That's exactly right, Robert Jordan. And Clinton's news network, yes. Everybody's desperate. You can see the desperation in the Clinton campaign. There was a clip yesterday. David Brock was talking. I was watching a clip with David Brock on CNN versus John Ticini, and we're going to have him on our show. And he wrote a book about Bernie Sanders. He's out there speaking and testifying for Bernie Sanders, and we're going to have him on the show thanks to John Spalding, one of our volunteers. And it was hilarious what David Brock was saying. It was ridiculous how desperate the Clinton campaign is, the kind of shit mud they're slinging all over the place. So here's another example from the Clinton News Network. By framing it with this title, they've already implied that Killer Mike said something controversial. He didn't, folks. He simply quoted a feminist, a woman, who made this statement. We're going to listen to everything Killer Mike had to say because it deserves to be played. I'm really glad we have our copy because I don't know if there's another copy out there. I mean, sure there are, but we were covering it live. The only other place I know that it was on live was the actual CBS 46 live page that was broadcasting it. So this is why we do what we do. The primary function here is to capture for the record, to keep the record of history correct. We record these things because we know that corporate media will do everything they can to skew the truth, to spin reality in favor of their candidate. So the article says Killer Mike defends himself amid criticism over uterus quotation. So what they're really criticizing is the feminist who actually spoke the words, and we're gonna listen to what Killer Mike had to say here because it's amazingly powerful speech. And the other thing, folks, okay, so frame that up for you. But before we run it, the first thing he talks about after "Do you feel the burn?" is what sounds to me like an altercation, a problem with Secret Service, and it's disgusting. It's disgusting. White men in suits thinking they're in power. And I agree with every word Killer Mike had to say. Hey, Secret Service, NSA, FBI, CIA, you all work for me. You all work for Hey Hun, for Think It Through, for Bozo, for Jake Wimberly. You work for all of us. I don't give a shit who you think cuts your check. If it weren't for the people, the government wouldn't exist and your job wouldn't exist. So you better bow down to the people who actually control you. And this is where we've gotten to the problem with establishment, is the establishment government and the people that work for the establishment truly feel like they are on high, like they are above people like Killer Mike. They're above me. They're above all of you. This is the oligarchy that we have to dismantle, that we have to pull down from their thrones. Listen to Killer Mike, because it's powerful, it's truth to power. And I was enraged. I was like, holy shit, you've got to be kidding me. This guy is a surrogate for the Sanders campaign, and he's talking about being treated like a lower class citizen by Secret Service. We don't really know what happened, but from the sound of it, he's pretty pissed. It's Killer Mike. Truth to power.
Do you guys feel the burn? I know my white people in the audience, y'all here for a reason, so I know y'all feel the burn. I know my brothers and sisters, and rightfully so, they got some convincing to do. So I'm not here to pander for a politician. I'm not here to convince you the white messiah is coming out of the sky to save you. I don't even know if white Jesus is real. But before I was a freshman here in 1993, before I was a student at Frederick Douglass High School, 3 exits to the west that way, before I was a kid at Collier Heights Elementary and growing up in Collier Heights, I was destined to be a black man born in America. And that ain't always an easy job. It's not always an easy task. So forgive me if I'm not talking about everybody right now, but I want to help you understand the plight of a black man in America. This didn't happen to me yesterday. This didn't happen to me the day before. This happened to me today. I was stopped. I was accosted. Somebody threatened to arrest me because I said I didn't like the way they were talking to a black woman. And to that black Secret Service agent, I'm going to just simply say shame on you. But you didn't know no better. You didn't know that you were talking to a well-informed young man. You didn't know that you were talking to a disciple of Martin Luther King. You did not know that you were talking to a social justice warrior. And I appreciate you doing your job. Oh, I appreciate you doing your job. But then it got worse. Then I left you and I saw a white Secret Service agent, God bless him, he told me he didn't care if I was purple. I said, well, man, they don't make purple people. Then he said, well, you don't pay my salary. I said, but I'm a taxpayer. I think I do. And I didn't do it because I wanted to show anybody up. Because my father was a police officer, and I love the fact that law enforcement in Atlanta looks like me. I did it because I don't care what your job is. I don't care who we're here to protect. I don't care what we think we're protecting. We're here on this great campus because slaves chose to educate their children. We're here. We're here because black men and women have put it on the line for this country since the day you brought our black ass off a boat. We have been here. So I don't know what kind of disruption they were afraid was going to happen, but the disruptor is here. And I'm here to tell black people, if you give your vote, God damn it, demand something. So I don't care if you decided to go another way because you got a little uncomfortable. I don't care if you're secretly here with another agenda. I want to simply say, unlike a lot of people that are going to talk to you, I have been personally mentored, and you can Google these names, by Reverend James Orange, the Reverend Joseph Lowry, Andrew Young, Alice Johnson, and even the good Representative John Lewis. So you can't tell me nothing about what I know. And this is what I know. If you line up Martin Luther King Jr. social policy for the poor, for the downtrodden, for the weak, for the woman, for the gay, for the people of color, for the people in abject poverty throughout this country, if you take that and you put it on a board, and then you line up all your candidates from all the parties, and you say, well, what's your policy? There's only one candidate whose policy lines up. There's only one candidate. Now, 2 weeks before, when he didn't have no Secret Service, he wasn't that popular. They weren't worried about nothing happening to him. But today we got so much Secret Service, and we're thankful that they're here. We know that our job is being done. We know that we have recognized someone with the proper social justice policy for this country. When people tell us, hold on, wait a while, and that's what the other Democrat is telling you. Hold on, Black Lives Matter. Just wait a while. Hold on, young people in this country. Just wait a while. And then she get good. She have your own mama come to you. Your mama sit down and say, well, you're a woman. But I talked to Jane Elliott a few weeks ago, and Jane said, Michael, a uterus doesn't qualify you to be president of the United States. You have to have policy that's reflective of social justice. Paying women a fair wage is social justice. Making sure that minorities have jobs is social justice. Ending a bullshit drug war is social justice. Making sure our children can go to college is social justice. When I sat with Senator Sanders at a restaurant not far from here, a bunch of people went online and, he took them to a soul food restaurant. You're damn right. Because I wanted him to know that I'm not taking you here for the chicken. I didn't bring you for the collards. I wanted you to sit where Martin, Andy, Ralph, John, Hosea, I want you to sit where they sat. So before I endorse you, you understand what I expect of you. I expect for you to look out for the African American community. And I hear them tell our white brothers and sisters all the time, it's not your fight to fight. It's going to be okay later. And I look at people try to contrive ways of getting black and white people together. But in Atlanta, Georgia, if you look around, this ain't Georgia Tech. White people are here. This is Morehouse. If you look at Atlanta, Georgia, the Teamsters that are here, that are white, that work with James Orange, these out on the other side of town. This community is showing the rest of the nation how blacks and whites and Latins and gays and women and men can work together for the betterment of us all. And I say all that to say, once you have a policy that fits like all the fantasy they've always told you of liberation, of all of us overcoming, once you have a policy, it's time to look at everyone else and say, I like your dress and I like your hair, Donald Trump, but enough is enough for me. Enough of the political games for me. Enough of the bullshit. We deserve better. We have Bernie Sanders as our next United States president. Thank you, Morehouse. Michael Render, class of 1997.
Well, there you go. Now I better take this off the echo thing here. There it is, folks. You heard the whole thing, and I was looking at comments. First off, he had me crying too, for many reasons. I was ashamed. I felt so ashamed to be a white person. I do more and more. The older I get, I look back and I go, Jesus. A shame. And I see what's interesting. I just, on that note, we all have to work together now. We got to put aside our egos, our shame, our anger. None of that. It's important, but it's not important to the end goal, which is fixing the problem. But somebody in comments, thank you, Killer Mike. Now I got to find out who Jane Elliott is. Yeah, that's what all of this is about, folks. Discovering what our democracy is, discovering the truth, uncovering the lies of establishment media, recognizing that we've been passive while our government has done what it wants to do because we really haven't done our jobs in the democracy. And that's me for the length of my voting history and many other people. Right? The 67% that don't vote at all, many of whom are awakened now. Right? We've failed to do what our democracy is supposed to do, and we've let it go on so long that it's reached epic proportion. What Killer Mike said was simply quoting somebody else, and there's nothing more that needs to be said about it. As a matter of fact, the uterus statement is a distraction from the other things that were said in there that were so much more important. And one of them being that Morehouse College, the community, is an example of everybody working together, which is in stark contrast to a hit piece I saw on the entire thing saying that there was basically an all-white audience. I don't know about you folks. Take a look at the crowd. Go watch that video. I don't know who these people are that keep claiming there's an all-white audience. I don't know. Maybe they just only see white. I don't know. But Killer Mike humbled me. And he should humble every white person to understand that we owe reparation, but that we are also owed reparation. Our government owes us an awful lot, folks. An awful lot. And that's all we're going to talk about on Killer Mike in that statement, because it was the rest of the speech that's important. We're gonna move on into another subject. We're gonna talk about a couple things. I think it was Indiana for Bernie that pulled up this other article we're gonna talk about. But and by the way, nice to have you back. Sorry guys, I apologize. YouTube had a freak out, closed our old stream. We had to start a new stream. Here we are. It's the way things are. Borrowing YouTube. We're gonna look into different options. I've been told about what the Young Turks do and how they manage their system, but that also requires bigger things. We can talk about that when we look at commentary. Actually, why don't we do that now? Let's take that moment. I had a rundown. Damn, I'm not following my plan. I had a plan. I've been working on trying to make this show better, trying to go in some kind of order, have like headlines and things in a rundown. So we talked about Killer Mike's speech. We talked about the smear. Then we're going to talk about how Clinton gets what she wants. We're going to go into some polls. All right, so we're going to do that, but at the beginning, all the way at the beginning, what I was supposed to talk about was a couple other things. Disability TV. If you guys aren't familiar, we've got that show coming up real soon. We'll probably run the video clip from that. That's Denise Silva, one of our volunteers, disabled person, came in and said, "I'd like to do a show about disabled people, and you know, have a voice." And this gets into the comments that we're going to show. I'm going to go to these slides. I'm going to show you two comments. One is from somebody who is obviously upset at me and the way I do things, and I'm just going to share their voice because they asked a question, and I ask the same question all the time. When I started this, so first, here's what Jim Peterson had to say. I look like a junkie. I'm guessing this was yesterday. I look like a junkie. No, I don't. You really should see what I looked like circa 1996, 97. Then I looked like a junkie because I was. I don't look nearly as bad, although I will say old age hasn't done me well for the bags under the eyes that I have, Jim. But you're right. I haven't done any knocking on doors. I haven't done any grassroots work. So I didn't mean to tell you anything yesterday, Jim. And I don't know what you're talking about in the copyright stuff, but Jim asked the questions, what am I doing? And although I will say this, I never see you showing shit of what the average people are doing on the ground. Our entire team is made up of average people on the ground. So I don't know where you missed that in what we do, but I do show tons of clips and things from average people on the ground. We're one of the few places that's been doing this since June, so I'm not sure about that. But then he tells me that my ego is huge, and I feel bad about that because if my ego has gotten in the way of this, I apologize. And that may be what part of all the angry ranting and stuff was about in earlier episodes, and that's why I'm constantly trying to do this as a recursive effort. Let's take a look at what we've done, make sure we don't repeat things that suck, make sure we improve on what is good, like any entity would want to do to improve themselves. But Jim brings up a question that I ask every day. What are we doing here? What is this for? And I want to remind everybody that originally what I created this for was to bring Bernie rallies to the public through the internet, because nobody back in June of 2015 was really doing anything to bring Bernie rallies anywhere. I offered a technology that allowed us to work together as volunteers, use our smartphones, our laptops, webcams to bring us Bernie. Then I crowdfunded a streaming unit to help us do that. And I offered, and this is where we got into the extension of what are we doing here, I offered to everybody the ability to do these shows. I said, you know, with this equipment and technology, you can be a host in Pennsylvania, you can be a co-host in the Bahamas, you can be a comment moderator in Brazil. I said, the whole idea is you can have a voice. We create shows, and we did shows like Native Life and Kelly Digs In, and we've got Disability TV coming up, and we started We the People. And then this show, which has caused a lot of controversy because I have a potty mouth and an opinion. But when you ask what I do or what I'm doing for the cause, my main purpose was to give Bernie and to give you a voice. And I hope I've done that regardless of being an asshole on this show. I also want to show you another comment I got that is the reason why I keep doing this, and this is the opposite of something Jim has to say, and this is from another person who I will leave anonymous, but I just want to read these statements. I want you to know, I want you and everyone else to know that you are helping people cope in these crazy times. I understand if it becomes too much at some point because you are doing a lot and there are always nasty, negative people that will interject hostility due to their own issues. I'm sure this is part of the reason Russell Brand stopped doing the truths as the media was hounding him with ridicule and disgust. I didn't know that, but I could imagine. I've only felt a tiny bit of it, and it's intense. Please let Denise know that I really appreciated her responding to my messages when I was on Twitter. If she ever does a show on mental disabilities, well, we're getting into that. I would be more than happy to contribute in any way as it is subject to the usual avoided. I hope she does a show with you on medical marijuana and disabilities, as I was told it might help me. But it isn't allowed here in Florida. Again, thanks for all you do. Keep fighting the good fight. And I'm going to leave that quote anonymous, obviously, but that really made me cheer up today. So thank you very much. I've responded to that person in the email. But I wanted to do a show on marijuana. I want to do a show on mental disabilities. I want to do a show on anything you want to do a show on, which was the whole reason we created this network, was to provide people with a voice. I can't let that goal become more than the goal of bringing Bernie to the people, but as we are Bernie, they're kind of intertwined. So I just wanted to cover those two opinions and let you know. I see, Brenda, don't worry about the occasional complainer. I can't please everyone. I know I can't please everyone, but the goal is to make sure that everyone is heard. And if somebody needs to complain or needs to tell me something or correct something or just wants to voice an opinion, that's fine. That's fine. I will respect their opinion, and I will reserve the right to defend what we do and apologize where necessary. That's all. It's all we really ever ask of our politicians, of our journalists, of anybody, right? Have some integrity. I know. And look, you guys are awesome. We have a great audience here today. Thank you. I'm looking at all your positive comments. More than 112 people, so probably more like 130 with us. Thank you so much. Yesterday we talked about this article. Moving on into some other things. Yesterday we talked about this. And this was a narrative. This is in the background, you've got this email sent in 2009 to this guy and basically saying, here's what you need to say. And it's a Hillary campaign email. This is how Hillary gets what she wants. It's ridiculous. Please use the word muscular. Mention these people. Don't mention it's blackmail. And here's the article by Mark Binder doing exactly that. It's absolutely ridiculous what this is. Well, here's another article that's come out, folks. That's, oh, you can't see that. That's totally out of frame. There we go. This is the latest. There was a piece that came out and said why we can't trust, why the millennials, why the Bernie Sanders campaign people, why Bernie supporters don't trust establishment media anymore. And more as we uncover the truth, folks, as we expose the truth about the establishment government, we find more and more instances of this. Yesterday, we find the piece on Clinton in 2009. This is an entire, I mean, this guy, so basically what we have here, I'm gonna distill this story down. Jonathan Cathcart. We've got a dude who writes basically a hit piece on Bernie Sanders. The pictures that have been going around with Bernie Sanders in civil rights protests, one place, another place, showing it looks like Bernie Sanders, nerdy guy with curly hair and glasses being arrested or sitting in a sit-in or whatnot. Well, this guy writes a hit piece saying, I've done some research, and this is some other dude named Bruce Rappaport. Bernie wasn't even there. Okay? So now the rumor mill starts going. And now we have the hearsay and the contesting and all of this bullshit. And it builds up into this Bernie a liar, is this guy a liar, what's going on here, blah. In the end, this guy is full of shit. He didn't do the research. He didn't do his job. He had to recant. But the damage was already done. And if you read the article, and I'm not going to get into all the specifics because it gets worse. Like, this guy had a partner who was connected with the Hillary campaign, and you basically uncover the fact that it was a hit piece done for the Hillary campaign, right? It's not good journalism. It's shit journalism. For all I worry about what I'm doing here in distillation, in synthesis, in trying to be professional, the damage done when a journalist, I put that in air quotes, writes an untruth and it is spread across the world, even when he recants. A good marketing statement is this, one negative takes 10 positives to undo. You get one negative review, one negative statement about you, and it takes 10 positives to undo that on the web. Well, here's an example, folks. This fucker writes this shit, doesn't do his research, then he has to go back and say, I'm sorry. I did my job, I did the research, that's Bernie, my bad. But the damage is done. This is going on all the time. The Killer Mike piece, this piece, how many other pieces? Now Bernie's the one issue candidate. But that one issue, folks, it is the cornerstone, it is the key of all other issues, and we know it. They just don't want to admit it. Anyway, I just had to cover that. This was an article by Shane Ryan. It's pretty sad and pathetic. It's really sad and pathetic when you think about it. We don't trust corporate media because corporate media doesn't do its job. That's really what it comes down to. Corporate media doesn't do its job. Well, let me rephrase that. Corporate media does its job. Corporate media works for Hillary Clinton, Clinton News Network. We know this. Corporate media works for the establishment. They work together. We know this. So I said the wrong thing. They are doing their job. They're just working for the wrong people. Working for the wrong people. Let me see what else I got here, folks. I said I was going to play another video. We're getting to the... here. This is where we're going. Moving on from the Hillary stuff. I believe I have that in a column called Hillary bashing, just because I'm sure people will say I'm bashing her for it. Yes, think it through, that's exactly right. There's been some serious threats against Bernie, I'm sure. And Bernie is a threat to the establishment. It makes it kind of, I almost would rather we hired private security for Bernie and paid for it out of our own pockets than have the Secret Service do what they do. Because the Secret Service is, in my opinion, just part of the corrupt establishment. And based on the way they apparently, allegedly treated Killer Mike and Nina Turner, no respect, none. As I said earlier, all you folks, all you establishment privileged folks in suit and ties, you work for us, and your time is coming to bow down to the people who actually pay your wages, your wages. We are the reason you exist. But let's move into something much more important. This is Nate Silver. I have to pull your comments down here. Nate Silver, 538, predicts that Bernie Sanders is going to win in Nevada. Okay, now, Nate's come a long way since the early days of his polling where he basically thought Bernie Sanders didn't have a chance in hell. He's changed his mind. But we appreciate this. So that's what Nate thinks is going to happen. And here's another one. This is a CNN poll that just came out. And I don't know where they did. Scroll down here, the important part. Trump has a massive lead in Nevada. That really, on the one hand, it scares me. On the other hand, it makes me feel better because I'm not too concerned about defeating Trump. I don't think anybody will have an issue defeating Trump. But here's the numbers as this CNN poll shows us. We've got Clinton at 48, Sanders at 47. See, I should have it over here, and then it'd be looking in the right place. Clinton 48, Sanders 47. Biden, no, but he had 12% last time. Interesting, oh, you can't see it in the bottom here. You scroll down. Oh, not that far. Sorry, guys. In the bottom here, definitely decided, 62%. Leaning towards somebody, 13. And still trying to decide. There's still 25% in Nevada still trying to decide. Right? Which means those boots on the ground people, those phone banking people, you were the key. You were the key. We already know that Hillary does not really have a lot of staff in Nevada. We already know that Bernie has got it in spades. So what we can do, phone banking, we're going to look at a caucus video here in a second. But this is where the boots on the ground effort and the phone effort matter a lot. Call as many people as we can. If you're in Nevada, please, boots on the ground, get connected with BernieSanders.com, connect.BernieSanders.com, vote.BernieSanders.com will tell you all you need to know. But please, please help us reach as many people as possible because this CNN poll where we've got Clinton 1 point ahead of Sanders, there's a 6.5% margin of error. It's a pretty big margin of error. So Bernie could have her beat. But remember, we need to win this big. We need to win this with a big margin. And what I want to see is the Latino community that sits in Nevada because we know it's there. So we got to help Nevada. We got to focus on Nevada. Let's watch this caucus video. Very cute. Cute caucus video. I haven't seen the whole thing. I just watched it start, and it already made me smile. So this is from the Sanders campaign proper. How to caucus in Nevada.
Hi, my name is Mansour Guerra, Nevada caucus expert for Bernie Sanders. I want to talk to you how easy it is to caucus for Bernie Sanders. On Saturday, February 20th, show up at your caucus location at 11 a.m. At 12 noon, they lock the doors. Get there early. Once you're inside, you separate into a group of Bernie peeps. And the other candidate supporters do the same. Then you stay there while the caucus leader counts the groups. There are 17 peeps for Bernie. and 5 for the other candidate. You need 15% to be viable. Here, both groups are viable. The counting might take a few minutes. Bring something to do. This guy brought a book. She's making sure the results are tallied up properly with the Calcus app. That one's being weirdly still, but we're inclusive. That's it. You're done.
So, who gets the caucus?
If you're a Nevadan who will be 18 by November 8, 2016, you can caucus.
I'm a Republican. Can I caucus for Bernie?
No problem. You just have to fill this form. We'll help you register as a Democrat.
I'm an independent, but I feel the burn.
That's totes fine. Just fill out this form.
This is my first time voting. I've never registered.
It's cool. Just show up. We'll help you register.
Thank you.
If you don't know where your neighborhood's location is, you can find out at berniesanders.com/Nevada. You can also call us at 702-778-4336 or text NV to 82623.
The establishment is counting on us not showing up on February 20th.
Let's prove them wrong.
Together, we can accomplish anything.
And remember, there's a special place in hell for those who won't stand for the working class. Caucus for Bernie. It's gonna be cricket ridic.
Okay. Sorry. I was I haven't seen the whole thing. That was awesome. I was staring at the screen over here. I was watching her going, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe she's doing it." That was an incredible video. This is the difference. I mean, look at that. That's, you don't see this kind of stuff for any other campaign. You don't see this kind of movement of the people for anybody else. This is special, people. This is an amazing time we have right now. I was looking at some of your comments. Cute, sweet. This should be a national commercial. Her little power fist. I know. She's a badass. She's a badass. We need to spread that video around. It is in the description. All of these links, most of these links, probably a couple I forgot because I dropped them in late, like the Disability TV link, which we're gonna run they did a 47-second promo we're gonna run that I just saw here. But share these links out. Every time you engage in social on whatever platform it is, it helps the cause. This is, I know it doesn't seem so. I often wonder about the reach we have, the impact we have. But like the video last night of Killer Mike, that has more than 20,000 views on it right now, folks. And comment after comment in YouTube saying, "I've never seen this before. Oh my gosh, I wasn't going to vote for Bernie and now I am." I mean, every one of those persons that I see that says, my eyes have been opened, or I'm changing my mind, or if I've helped one or two people make up their mind, make a decision, choose one way or the other. So when you guys post to social, when you guys share a video, when you guys add your personal testimony to it, every time you post something, you're basically posting testimony. I'm for Bernie. I'm for Bernie. Every time you post. And it helps more people see the message. It helps raise Bernie Sanders up in social, in SEO, on the web. And you know, there's people that help me in chat all the time. Yeah, our impact is huge. Our impact is huge. Believe it or not, Brahm is right. We have won this election. We, all of us, not Bernie 2016 TV, every internet entity. That's why another reason why I really wasn't thinking clearly when I talk about all of the grassroots ever. All of it in its entirety, all of the web entities, everything. There has never been such a mass creation for one person, for one cause. Never. It's never happened. And it was that massive rush of intellectual property and content and truth, that rush of truth that worked to fight against. That was our push of momentum that fought against establishment media. If we had not done this, folks, If we all had not done this together, oh, lower third. Thank you. You know what I need to do? I need to go back and mark where I stopped, though, because I don't know where I stopped on this thing. So you're going to probably see some comments that you've seen before. So apologize. We are the 99%. We are. But the Bernie camp, Bernie Sanders himself has said, and you guys have heard this, that they did not expect it to be this. I don't think they expected it to be this big, so much, so fast. The internet did more, worked faster, was more powerful than I think the Sanders campaign really imagined. Janine could probably speak to that because she has more information. She listens to more of the calls. But Janine is not in good shape today, folks. She has been busting ass so hard out there dealing with cold weather and then warm weather, and she's got a cold. And so let everybody keep Janine in your thoughts so she can get better, because we need her to work 24 hours a day like all of us do. She can't stop doing that. So I'm looking at this comment right here. I just want to say something. I don't know that Maddow is conflicted. I don't know. Every time I want to give her credit for like really thinking for herself, I hear her say things or do things, and I just go, I don't know. I worry. I wonder. Yeah, Bernie already won every state because he's woke the people up. In the end, that is the truth. Bernie has changed the Democratic Party. He's created a new Democratic Party. We're going to win, but even if for some reason he doesn't win, we have a revolution moving, folks. We are going to change our democracy. Right? We'd like to do it with Bernie, but you know that we're going to do it anyway. Are you kidding me? Did you see that? Did you see that, Janine? Did you drop that? Michael Stapleton? I got to go back to that comment. Hang on a second. Now I know why the lower... Chelsea is known to watch BTV to collect ideas. Yeah? She can't be getting any good ones. She can't. I know. Do you want to say that on air? I keep forgetting I have you muted. It's up to you. Do you want to say hi to everybody? Here, you're on air.
I said she must be a secret Bernie fan. She did call him President Sanders, right?
She did. She called him President Sanders, and I thought I saw another error, or maybe it was a spoof. But yeah, I think Chelsea feels the burn. I think she feels the burn until she realizes she gets, what, $76K for going around and calling him President Sanders. So I think she knows where she needs to get a paycheck, but I think she's conflicted. I don't know. Anyway, thank you, Janine. Good to have you in here. Switching back to the other mic, folks. So you can tell the difference. This is not running through HDMI versus running through HDMI. That's basically what's going on. So anyway, back to other things. They have not shut down the channel. They have not. I haven't received a response on that thing that we talked about earlier. But who knows? That could always happen. I was going to talk about a couple other things. Oh, I wasn't done with the Hillary bashing. I'm sorry. Really quick. I want to do one more Hillary thing. I found this interesting. So Bernie Sanders at Morehouse, Atlanta, Georgia. We've seen him. If you go back and look on Channel 1 and Channel 2, Bernie 2016 TV, Channel 1 and Channel 2, which are still accessible in terms of archive, you see a lot of Bernie in the South. He actually was in the South a lot. And we actually have one from October where Bernie was in Alabama, Birmingham. 8,000 people show up. Okay. Of course, I'm sure corporate media is going to tell you they were all white. Managed to find all white people in Birmingham, Alabama, 8,000 people. None of them were black people or minorities for Bernie Sanders in Birmingham, Alabama. But, Bernie Sanders has been speaking to minorities. He's been working for minorities, despite the fact that there's a hit piece talking about how some minority individuals within Vermont themselves are claiming Sanders has ignored them, shunned them. But I'm not even going to look at that article. Last night, we saw Bernie Sanders. He's got Killer Mike coming out. Got Nina Turner coming out talking. Okay. human beings, people with stories to tell. We heard the testimony, why they're voting for Bernie Sanders. We've heard Tim Black talk to us about why he's voting for Bernie Sanders, helping everybody understand the truth about Hillary Clinton, the truth about the Clintons and their legacy from the 90s. And here's an article that came out. The reason I bring this up, folks, is because here's the Politico piece on Clinton. Okay. Politico piece. Clinton in Harlem seeks contrast with Sanders on race. Now, I'm not even going to read what they talk about here or what they say because it's kind of funny. Basically, she goes and meets Reverend Al Sharpton, just like Bernie Sanders did, and she does some dinner somewhere and talks to some people and tries to... What she's trying to do at this point is... They're trying to go on this one-horse pony thing with Bernie Sanders or whatever, you know, or I can't even... One-cart pony, whatever it is. I can't remember the euphemism. But basically trying to say that he's a one-issue candidate. But what they're not getting is that one issue is the root. It really is the root of all right? Income inequality, money and politics, they're the same. It's the root is money, really. The root is money, folks. We have an income inequality. We have an imbalance in money. Our money. And that's what the establishment doesn't seem to understand. It's our money, and it is being improperly used. It is being improperly distributed within our government by our establishment. That is truly the root cause of all of the other issues. It really is. Because if we didn't have systemic poverty, if we didn't have all of these other issues, we wouldn't have them because we have money. Sorry, I said that wrong. Basically what I'm saying is from a lack of money, from an income inequality standpoint, okay, you end up with money in politics. You end up with all the money at the 1%. All of the other issues we face are derived from lack of money, are derived from lack of basic resource. The fact that minorities suffer worse disproportionately is because they were already minorities to begin with. They were already being shit on to begin with. The income inequality just made it worse, exponentially worse. But this is why when we talk about one issue, we talk about the daddy of them all, the big, massive issue. Clinton doesn't understand that. The establishment doesn't understand that. They don't see a problem with money. What's wrong? We take your money, we spend it where we want. You get back very little for it. What's your problem? Don't get that. That's literally what the issue is. I liked this take on it. White lady with $650K speaking fee wants black Americans to know she's down with their struggle. I thought that was basically a better way to sum up. Now the article itself, nothing great there, but the actual title I thought was funny, folks, because that's basically what's going on here. And when Killer Mike said in his speech, just wait a while, right? Just wait a while, Black Lives Matter. Just wait a while. The establishment's been telling us to wait a while for decades. Just wait a while on renewable energy. It's too expensive. Just wait a while on fossil fuels. It's still working for us. Just wait a while on dealing with CO2. We knew in 1977 we had to do something with it. We had about a 20-year window, but we're still waiting a while. We're still waiting. We're still waiting, folks. We're waiting for better wages. We've been waiting for renewable energy. We've been waiting for better health care. We've been waiting for better veteran services. We've been waiting for no war. We've been waiting for a lot of things. We've been waiting for a government that actually works for us, not against us. A government that doesn't just use us and toss us away when they're done with us, like they do with our vets. We've been waiting for a long time. And it's time the establishment wake up and understand that we're done waiting. That we are going to take back our government. Climate. I talked about climate. Grace, you're the one that brought this up, I think. Pretty sure. I'm going to run this Bernie Sanders, the president we need, from Grassroots for Bernie Sanders. But this is something we're going to talk about. This is, here, I should probably expand this out. Expand that out. Come over here and see what you guys, here, go back to these. We'll go back to comments. Again, I have no idea where I'm supposed to be on here, so I got to get better at the comment thing. I really apologize, folks. I got to get better at that. I want to see what you're having to say in comments. So you're tired of waiting? The segue is perfect. Thank you. Bern notice. I'm going to play your piece. We're going to talk about this, and then we'll play your piece. How's that? Where are we at? 10:09? We got time. Why not? We can do that. Let's do that. All right. We're going to end with Bernie Sanders, the president we need, but I want to play the Bern notice piece. Bern notice number 3. I think I have it loaded up in here. This Climate Emergency Caucus, Des Moines, Iowa. This is about a 1-hour show, or 2-hour show. I'm just finding out what's going on here. So Bernie Sanders won this caucus. Is basically who we're going to pick to represent us, who has the best views on climate change. My personal view, folks, is even Bernie's climate change plan is not enough. It's not even close to enough. I think we all know that, but I think he has to start with something that fits within the realm of what is perceived to be reality, so that he can get into office. That's my personal opinion. So what I want to do with this, what we're going to do is, apparently the gentleman in charge, and maybe this is him, I apologize for not knowing all the details, I think his name is Ezra, is willing to come on and do an interview, talk with us about this whole thing, why they did this thing. And what I want to do with it is kind of do like a director's watch. We'll watch it together, we'll run lower thirds, we'll do comment mod, and maybe we'll stop it at different points and talk to Ezra, or maybe we'll talk to him at the beginning and at the end, but put something together like that. I don't know, maybe we'll do it as a fundraiser for something, but, you know, for these guys or for Bernie or something. But these are the kind of events I want to put together. So we'll watch this together, we'll learn together what they were doing and what's going on here. Yeah, so I'm excited about that, to do this climate emergency thing. The link's in the drop down, so how about John give a comment in the comments? Yeah, cool. All right, good. I'm glad you agree. All right, good. Sounds good. Oh, it's not what I wanted to do. Keep going. Keep going. All right, I got through all the comments, folks. That was the last one. Thank you, bro. We're coming and we're really pissed off. No. Wait, we can't. We have a planet to save, folks. We have a planet to save. We're going to... I want to live on a nice planet. I want to live on a nice planet. This one is not so nice. All right. Is that the perfect segue? Oh, did I tell you that? Okay, I'm going to laugh at myself. I'm going to laugh at myself for a second. I've been told this was bullshit. I apparently bought it hook, line, and sinker. This didn't happen. This is some satire, and I apologize for totally going off on this. I was fooled. It wouldn't surprise me, though. Either way, whether it happened or didn't happen, the reaction from the FCC wouldn't surprise me one way or the other. And quite frankly, I don't know. Who knows? Whatever. I don't know what that is, but apparently it was bullshit, and I got took, which is funny. Let me see if I can find Bern notice. I had it in here somewhere, and now I've lost it. That's not good. Here we go. All right. So this is 4 minutes. This is Bern notice number 3. A message for establishment politicians and their supporters, which we will watch as soon as I have this framed. All right, guys. Enjoy.
I want to watch the world burn. What's up, burners? I gotta say, there's nothing more satisfying to me right now than seeing the corporate media shaking in their boots because Bernie's gaining momentum. But if you listen to corporate media, they'd have you think that it's pretty much all millennials that's backing Bernie Sanders, mostly due to his policies on college student loan debt and free education for everybody in America. But there's a bit more to it than that. As the campaign has progressed, there's more evidence showing that people from Generation X and baby boomers are starting to feel the burn. The question is, why? It's because people are finally starting to realize that they're being screwed over by the super wealthy and the powerful. People are starting to realize that accepting the lesser of two evils is not the way to get real progress. Whether it be Democrat, Republican, or Independent, they're starting to realize that the two-party system and their establishment candidates are only interested in serving their big money backers. Working class citizens who put in an honest day's work have found that after years and decades of work, they're no closer to being able to retire with dignity than they were when they started. Those who are at retirement age know that they can't enjoy their golden years because Social Security doesn't provide enough to cover their basic needs. So as a result, instead of being able to retire and spend time with their grandchildren, they're working at Walmart. Almost everyone across party lines is tired of money having more say in government than people do. All of these realizations are starting to hit home while the corporations and billionaires continue to post healthy profits while simultaneously cutting salary and benefits. Typically, you'll hear liberals or progressives refer to our form of government as a democracy. You'll often hear conservatives say that it's a representative republic governed by the rule of law. Neither definition fits our paradigm. What is more accurate is a plutocracy, which is defined as a form of government that is run by the wealthy or an elite ruling class. This is way different from the government America claims to be, which is supposedly one that is of the people, for the people, and by the people. I don't understand how someone who makes less than $70,000 a year can say with a straight face that they support establishment candidates. If you're a supporter of Clinton or one of the GOP establishment candidates, I have a few questions for you that I would like you to answer. Who do you think government is supposed to serve? Is it supposed to serve all of the people or just the wealthy and the powerful? Do you honestly think that you can retire with dignity after having worked your entire adult life while bad trade deals cause our jobs to move overseas and by effect cause average wages to either stagnate or plummet? How is it wise to reject welfare for the working class citizen while supporting corporate welfare for corporations and the wealthy? How is it sensible for our government to spend trillions of dollars on wars overseas while claiming not to have money to repair our infrastructure, such as roads, bridges, and our education system? When you bitch and moan about how you wish you could make your leaders listen to you or do what's in the best interest of all citizens, do you mean that or are you full of hot air? I often hear the comment that what Bernie is pushing for is pie-in-the-sky thinking. The abolition of slavery, women's suffrage, civil rights, and LGBT equality were all pie-in-the-sky thinking in their day. If we had continued to be naysayers, none of these now common-sense ideas would ever have come about. What in the hell happened to us? We used to aspire, and now all of a sudden we're supposed to just settle for what we're given. You know, there comes a point where people have to take a stand for what they believe in. This is that time. This is your moment. Stop settling for half measures and empty talk. Do more than simply demand change. Be that change. Thanks for watching.
All right, there. Thank you. That was awesome, Ed. Yeah, love your voice. You have a great voice in that, and I really appreciate that. That was inspiring. I was talking to Janine in chat briefly while we were doing this, making sure we didn't have any other things going on today, tomorrow. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that submits content. Bern noticed this is the third one of these. Darcy has submitted stuff, the at-home activism. Other people submitting sites, links, apps, all that kind of stuff. As we grow together, as we learn how to be a functioning democracy together, we will share all these things. We will learn about each other. We will learn about the world and what we build, what we make. I'm learning more about Ed every time he does one of these. Learn more about you guys every time I'm on here, and I certainly learn a lot about myself the next day after doing a broadcast, because I try to take in a lot of what was said, a lot of the comments, and look back at it and decide whether it was something I'm proud of or not. And I think we all kind of do that with our lives, with our days. And so thank you for being here, and thank you for submitting that, Ed. That was nice. I love the passion. I love the, what are we going to do? Apollo 11, smartphones. Where are we today, folks? We should be out in the stars. We should have been out in the stars a long time ago, but we forgot to take care of ourselves. We need to take care of ourselves, and that starts with fixing our government. We need to fix our government. I think all we have left to talk about is events tomorrow. Look at some of the comments. I am proud. Thanks, Bad Wolf Time Lady. Don't see the links for the video? In the description. All the video links should be in the description. Should be a ton of them in there. Yeah. Bottom lower third. Is there still more lower thirds? Is there still more? You guys are making a lot of comments. All right. Let's see. We got to be like around there. Now, I know we saw this comment. So we'll go here. There we go. What do we have? What do we have going on? Tomorrow, there's two things. We have a We the People. That's at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. my time. And that is with Alette Valentine, 7th District candidate, Colorado. And I'm interested in talking to her because I grew up in Colorado. I'm a Columbine kid, actually. And I want to hear what she has to say in Colorado. I really didn't know much about the politicians in Colorado until, well, certainly not while I was growing up there. Didn't really care. So I want to talk to her. Good to meet her. Good to know. Yeah, so we got We the People, and I'm looking at this other one here, broadcast planning. We have a meta forum, and Janine, if you're in here, can you just real quick tell where is this? All I see is that it's tonight, tomorrow, Thursday, February 18th, Meta Forum. We're going to go live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and it's going to start at 9 o'clock, but I don't know anything else. Janine?
The only thing I know off the top of my head is that it's being sponsored by MSNBC. I'm trying to figure out if it's in South Carolina or not.
Okay. It might be. It might be. So that's good. You don't know any more than I do. We'll be doing a meta debate. If we find a stream, we'll bring it. Otherwise, we'll be doing our usual fun, go on a half hour early. Thank you, Janine. You know how that goes, folks. We'll have a good conversation. We'll talk about things. There we go, getting that lower third going. So the only thing left, so we got We the People. We got the Meta Forum. We the People's first. Join us for that. Right after that, we'll go into this Meta Forum. And that's Thursday. We don't have any other Bernie things on the calendar yet. We're waiting for them to push more information. I'm sure we'll get more information today. I think he needs a break. His voice definitely needs a break. The man does more talking. If you can imagine doing 3-4 of these speeches a day and all the communication that you have to do in the middle, I mean, that's a lot of talking, folks. You want to question Bernie's shape? He's in damn good shape because he's still going. You see what I look like? I'm trying to keep up with Bernie, right? So the guy looking the way he does, sounding the way he does, he's in a hell of a lot better shape than I am. And he's not quite twice my age. So, yeah. You go to Vermont? Is that where you went? You went back home for a little bit? All right. Oh, it's in Nevada? Oh, sorry. Thank you. It's in Nevada tomorrow. My bad. Of course it is. So remember, support Nevada. If you're in Nevada, caucus, it's this Saturday. Phone bank, vote.berniesanders.com or what is it? voteberniesanders.org. Either one of those. Remember what I said about grassroots versus official campaign? The only point is to make sure that the information you're getting is accurate. That's all. Support all of that stuff. Glad it's out there. We'll see you tomorrow for a newsroom. And if something pops up today, we'll go live with it. I don't expect it to, but you know how that goes. So thank you very much. Thank you for joining me today, guys. It's really, really nice to really nice to have you all here. More than 100 people. What do we got? More than 110, so like 130 people joining right now. Thank you so much. Appreciate all of your support, your kindness, your love. I'll get to your emails if we haven't gotten to you. If you sent an email more than a week ago and you haven't heard back, then I probably lost it. Resend if you haven't heard me, if you haven't gotten a reply from us. And we're going to go out with Bernie Sanders, the president we need. This is a grassroots for Bernie Sanders. It's a 4-minute, 40-second piece here. It's very inspirational, and we're going to end with that. So thank you all very much. Feel the burn, everybody.
When you get down to basics and you talk about morality, it seems to me that the least that we can do as a nation which has more income and wealth inequality than any other major country on earth, a nation in which the wealthiest people are becoming phenomenally richer while we have over 40 million people living in poverty, the very least that we could say is that nobody in America goes hungry. That, I would hope, would be the least that we could say is in a civilized democratic society.
Sanders tells ABC News he is in.
And Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont running for president.
Earlier today, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders officially announced that he will run as a Democrat for the President of the United States.
We now have a political situation where billionaires are literally able to buy elections and candidates. Let's not kid ourselves.
They want to end Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, more tax breaks for the rich and large corporations. Nobody in America wants that except the billionaire class. And yet they are now able to put hundreds of millions of dollars into the political process.
A great nation will not survive, in my view, when so few have so much and so many have so little.
He has a set of consistent principles that he has run on his entire political life.
I think Americans love authenticity, and they think there's not a lot of it in politics today. And Bernie Sanders, like him or not, is authentic.
Let's say this about Bernie Sanders. He is the rarest of commodities in Washington, D.C. He is truly an honest man.
I've never run a negative ad in my life. I've been in many campaigns, and you ask the people of Vermont, they will tell you Bernie Sanders has never run a negative ad. I hate and detest these 30-second ugly negative ads. Obviously, we have to be strong in protecting our people from terrorism, but I don't think we have to undermine the Constitution and deny our people basic constitutional rights. I think what we have got to appreciate is when you have 6 financial institutions that have assets equivalent to about 60% of the GDP of America, you know what? Let's be honest. You can't regulate them.
You'd break up the banks.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They are if they're too big to fail, they are too big to exist. Middle class is collapsing, poverty is up, and the rich are doing phenomenally well. What do? What you do is say that in America we're going to rebuild our crumbling infrastructure, and by doing that we're going to create millions of jobs. We've got to raise the minimum wage to a living wage, and over a period of years to at least $15 an hour. We as a nation are the only country in the industrialized world not to guarantee health care. 45,000 people die each year because they don't get to a doctor on time, which is why, by the way, I am a strong advocate of a Medicare for all single-payer program. Quality education in America, from child care to higher education, must be affordable for all.
Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders surprised everybody by raising more than $1.5 million in the first 24 hours after he announced. You have 100,000 people who have pledged to volunteer on the campaign already?
No, actually we have 175,000. All over this country, you have a lot of bright, decent, good people. They're saying, you know what? The situation is hopeless. You can't beat the Koch brothers. You can't beat the billionaires. You can't win. I'm giving up. That is exactly what they want us to believe. And I beg of you, do not enter that world of despair. We can win this fight if we stand together.
Well, let me just say this about my political career. I think few would argue that it is the most unusual political career in the United States Senate. Nobody thought that I would be elected mayor of Burlington, Vermont. Very few people thought that I would beat an incumbent Republican to become United States Congressman from Vermont by 16 points. And people weren't so sure I could beat the richest person in Vermont to become a United States Senator. So I would say, don't underestimate me. When millions of people stand up and fight, they win.